There is a moment in every life when you are standing at the edge of something invisible. The ground behind you is solid, familiar, safe. The air in front of you is unknown, unproven, uncertain. This is where most people hesitate. This is where most people freeze. They wait for a sign, for evidence, for a guarantee that the next step will hold their weight. And in that pause, dreams die. Not with a bang, not with a grand failure, but with the quiet erosion of time. The truth is brutal and liberating at the same time. You will never be handed proof before you move. Proof is the child of action, not the parent. The greats didn't wait for it. Henry Ford didn't wait for an industry report to tell him the automobile was viable. He built it in his mind then, in his workshop, then on the roads. Walt Disney didn't wait for a poll to confirm that people would flock to a theme park filled with characters from his imagination. He poured everything into the vision before the first ticket was sold. Most people don't fail because they lack ability. They fail because they demand evidence before they commit. But proof is a luxury of the builder, not the requirement of the beginner. If you wait to be sure, you'll be waiting for the rest of your life. This is where mindset becomes a line between movement and stagnation. The average mind thinks I'll start when I know it will work. The disciplined mind thinks I'll start and I'll make it work. The difference is everything. Because once you move without proof, you are forced to grow into the person who can handle what comes next. The old version of you, the one addicted to guarantees, has no place in the arena. The arena belongs to those who fight in uncertainty and build their confidence brick by brick, day by day, choice by choice. Belief is the oxygen in that arena. Without it, you suffocate. And belief is not some fragile feeling you hope will show up. It's a decision you nail into the floor of your mind. Thomas Edison didn't believe because the light bulb worked. The light bulb worked because he believed. Every failed filament was not a reason to stop, but a reason to keep going. That is the power of belief in motion. It refuses to measure worth by today's results and instead measures it by the inevitability of tomorrow's breakthrough. But belief without clarity is a storm without a compass. If you don't know what you're building, every obstacle will feel like a dead end. Andrew Carnegie was clear steel was his empire, and every decision bent toward that aim. When you have that kind of clarity, moving without proof becomes easier because you are not asking if the destination is real. You are asking how fast you can get there. Vision is the bridge between clarity and courage. It's the ability to see the destination in detail before the rest of the world even knows it exists. Walt Disney didn't just imagine a park. He walked through it in his mind, heard the music, felt the joy, smelled the popcorn before the first shovel hit the dirt. That vision became his proof. Not a spreadsheet, not a guarantee, just the unshakable picture in his mind. And purpose, that is the fire that keeps the vision alive when the wind howls and the night is long. Abraham Lincoln's purpose outlasted years of war, betrayal, and exhaustion because it was bigger than him. If your purpose is small, the first challenge will kill it. If your purpose is vast, no proof is needed. It becomes an inner law you can't break without breaking yourself. Now, discipline is the daily enforcement of that law. It's the quiet, unglamorous repetition of action when there is nothing to validate you yet. Henry Ford's assembly line was discipline made visible, the same movements over and over until they reshaped an industry. You have to do the same. Build your own assembly line of habits and execution that doesn't care about applause, doesn't wait for permission, doesn't depend on motivation. Action is the turning point. Most people spend their lives in a perpetual warm-up, preparing endlessly for a race they never run. They polish, plan, and predict until the moment passes. The ones who change history are the ones who step out mid-sentence, who launch before they have the full map, who risk looking foolish, because they understand that motion is the mother of mastery. Gratitude becomes your anchor in the storm. Moving without proof is hard, and it's easy to lose sight of what's working when you're measuring only what's missing. Gratitude reminds you that you already have enough to begin, that the tools, the lessons, the connections, the experiences you've gathered are not random, but preparation. It's the antidote to scarcity thinking, the reminder that what you have today is enough to create something better tomorrow. Adaptability is your survival skill. Moving without proof means you will take wrong turns. You will meet walls you didn't expect. The difference between those who keep going and those who stop is the ability to pivot without losing purpose. Edison didn't fail 10,000 times. He adapted 10,000 ways. Carnegie adjusted strategies as markets shifted. Ford reimagined processes when obstacles arose. The mission remained, the route evolved. Resilience is the steel in your spine. Proof will not arrive neatly wrapped. It will arrive disguised as rejection, as delay, as criticism. And in those moments, you will have two choices: quit or reinforce your belief with action. Resilience chooses the latter every time. It is not about never breaking, it's about bending so you can spring back sharper. And learning is how you turn uncertainty into advantage. Every day you move without proof, you are gathering data the still ones will never have. You are discovering what works and what doesn't. You are building instincts that cannot be taught in theory. You are becoming dangerous not because you guessed right from the start, but because you've been in the field long enough to adapt faster than anyone else. The truth is, this moving without proof is not reckless. It is the birthplace of every breakthrough you admire. Proof comes to the builders, the doers, the relentless. It arrives in the rearview mirror, never at the starting line. If you can accept that, if you can begin without needing to see the finish, you will have placed yourself in the rare company of those who live, fully build boldly, and die without the ache of wondering, what if so? Step forward now. Not because you have proof, but because you have the courage to live without it. Knowing that in time your results will become the evidence, your persistence will become the story, and your life will become the proof for someone else who is still standing at the edge waiting for a sign. You move and the world shifts. Not because it was waiting for you specifically, but because motion has a gravitational pull. The moment you step forward without proof, things that were once invisible start revealing themselves. Resources you couldn't have planned for, allies you didn't know existed, opportunities that were dormant until they felt the vibration of your footsteps. This is why the ones who move without proof seem to have luck on their side. It's not luck, it's the mathematics of momentum. Standing still breeds more stillness. Moving forward breeds more movement. Doors open because you are now standing where the doors are. But here's what most never understand. The first doors you open won't look like success. They'll look like extra work. They'll look like small wins that no one notices. They'll look like setbacks wearing the mask of opportunity. This is the test. The proof you want hides inside the work you don't want to do. Look at Ford hammering away at a vision most experts dismissed. The first prototypes were clunky, unreliable, and ridiculed. But to him, every rough model was proof in disguise. It was proof that the idea was alive enough to be improved. If you are waiting for perfect before you move, you are not chasing greatness. You are chasing comfort. Greatness doesn't come from perfect starts. It comes from imperfect persistence. Belief, when it is real, does not need confirmation from the outside world. The outside world will often deny you proof on purpose. It will test whether your belief can feed itself or whether it collapses without applause. That's why Edison kept going when the dark laughed at him. That's why Disney kept sketching characters no one cared about yet. They weren't moving because the world believed they were moving, because they refused to live in a world where their vision didn't exist. But to sustain that kind of movement, you need a structure inside yourself. Discipline is the skeleton that keeps belief from collapsing. When you have discipline, you can carry vision through seasons where there is no visible reward. You can work the plan without proof because the work itself has become the proof. Every completed task is a brick in the foundation, and over time, that foundation becomes undeniable. This is where clarity becomes an accelerant. If you know exactly what you're chasing, proof is no longer the prerequisite for movement, it's the inevitable result of it. Andrew Carnegie didn't need the market to validate him before he moved into steel. He decided steel was his domain, and every day, every negotiation, every partnership bent toward that aim. When you have that kind of focus, the absence of proof is irrelevant. You don't ask, will this work? You ask, what's my next move? And you will need adaptability in the moments when your moves don't land as planned. Moving without proof means you will collide with walls. You will run down alleys that turn into dead ends. The average person stops there claiming, see, I knew it wouldn't work. The relentless person turns pivots and keeps moving until the dead end becomes a detour. Edison didn't discover the right filament because he was lucky he found it, because he refused to stop searching for it. That's adaptability, not avoiding failure, but metabolizing it into fuel. You will also need gratitude to keep your mind from poisoning itself. When you move without proof, it's easy to become obsessed with what you don't have yet. Gratitude flips that script. It forces you to acknowledge what is here now, what you've already survived, what tools and skills you already carry. It keeps your emotional bank account in the black so that when the external results lag behind you, don't bankrupt your spirit waiting for them. But above all, you will need resilience. The kind of resilience that absorbs rejection like rain on stone. The kind that hears no 100 times and still shows up for the 101st. Proof is slow to appear, and in that gap, most people quit. Not because they weren't capable, but because they misinterpreted the delay as denial. Resilient people understand that the delay is not proof of failure, it is the soil where proof grows. Lincoln faced delay after delay in his vision for the Union. His proof didn't come in speeches or policies, it came in years of enduring pressure without breaking. Every day he stayed in the fight was proof to himself that his conviction was stronger than the chaos around him. That's what you must learn. Proof is not a certificate someone hands you. It is the quiet confidence you build by surviving what would have broken you before. Learning is the multiplier in all of this. Moving without proof means you will be wrong often. But every wrong step is data. Every wrong assumption is an upgrade waiting to happen. Most people fear being wrong so much they never act. The ones who thrive without proof act, adjust, and become lethal through repetition. Carnegie refined his business strategies by studying competitors who were stronger than him. Disney improved his storytelling by analyzing the failures of his early films. Ford perfected his process by dissecting every inefficiency on the line. And here is where the transformation happens somewhere along the path. You realize you no longer need proof at all. You've replaced the hunger for validation with the habit of action. You've replaced the fear of uncertainty with the skill of adaptation. You've replaced the doubt in your mind with the muscle memory of discipline. The proof you were waiting for has been growing in your own character, and now when it finally shows up in the world, it's almost anticlimactic because you were already living as if it existed. That is the power of moving without proof. It forces you to become the person who can create the very evidence you once thought you needed to begin. And when you reach that level, you stop asking for signs. You become the sign. There comes a moment, quiet, unannounced, when you realize the ground beneath your feet feels different. You're not standing at the edge anymore. You're deep in the terrain you once feared to enter, moving with the ease of someone who belongs here. The air tastes different. The silence doesn't press on you like it used to. It listens to you now. The uncertainty that once made your chest tighten has been replaced with a calm, unshakable presence. You've crossed an invisible threshold. Not because someone stamped your passport into greatness, not because the world suddenly rolled out a red carpet, but because you moved without proof long enough to make the proof irrelevant. You've stopped begging for validation because every step forward has already validated you. Think of the titans who walked this path before you. Carnegie didn't wait for the steel market to prove his worth. He made steel so indispensable that the market had to bend around him. Edison didn't beg for the world to believe in electricity. He lit the world until belief was the only option left. Disney didn't demand applause before creating magic. He created it until even the skeptics bought tickets. They all understood a truth that the average person resists. It is not the proof that makes you move. It is the movement that makes the proof. And movement without proof is not a reckless gamble. It is a declaration of sovereignty over your own destiny. It's standing in front of the locked door, hearing the chorus of voices say, "You don't have the key," and turning the handle anyway, only to find it was never locked at all. But here's the part no one tells you. The moment you become comfortable moving without proof, the challenges don't vanish. They multiply, because now you are building things bigger than the old you could even comprehend. You're shouldering responsibility you once thought belonged only to others. And here in this expanded arena, the stakes are higher, the risks sharper, and the rewards far richer. Discipline becomes not just a habit, but a lifeline. It is the steady metronome in the chaos, the daily rhythm that keeps you from drifting off course. You wake when you said you would. You work when no one is watching. You refine the skill no one is applauding. You become immune to the intoxicating pull of distraction because you know every deviation has a cost and you are no longer willing to pay it. Clarity becomes your shield. In the noise of opportunity, you learn to say no more than you say yes. The person who once grasped at every option now understands that power comes from focusing fire on a single target. Carnegie didn't scatter his energy across 20 industries, he drove it deep into one. Your clarity is your authority, and purpose becomes your compass when the terrain shifts. There will be days when the proof you've built starts to crumble under the weight of new challenges. Purpose is what stops you from retreating to the safety of what you've already done. It's what whispers, "This is why you began." Keep walking. You will adapt because adaptation is no longer something you try to do, it is who you are. You bend when the wind changes, not to avoid breaking, but to catch the wind in a new way. What used to feel like detours now feels like design. What used to feel like problems now feels like raw material for innovation. And then, resilience. Not the romanticized version people talk about, but the kind that's forged in the sleepless nights, public setbacks, and private doubts. The kind that no quote on social media can give you. The kind that comes only from walking through fire and discovering you can breathe in the smoke. By now you've learned the most important lesson of all. You never needed proof to begin. You needed only the decision to become the proof. And in becoming it, you've done something rare. You've made yourself undeniable. This is the moment when others start asking, "How did you know it would work?" And you will smile because you know the truth, you didn't. You moved anyway. The world is built by people who were willing to look foolish before they looked formidable, who were willing to walk alone before they led many, who were willing to plant in barren soil before there was any sign of rain. You have that same choice right now. To wait for proof and join the countless who never begin, or to move without it and join the few who are remembered. The clock is not slowing for you. The door is not going to knock from the other side. The path will not light up before you step on it. So move. Move before you are ready. Move before you are certain. Move before the world believes in you, and give it no choice but to catch up. Because in the end, the only proof you will ever need is the life you built because you refuse to stand still.